Hi kitty cats. So to start off, I'm doing a tag. But before I get into even talking about the tag, I'm just gonna say my health is not that great right now. I really kind of overdid it at Thanksgiving, and some other stressful things went on the next day that just exasperated things. So my skin is super dry, so I didn't feel comfortable wearing makeup today. Not that that matters, I know, but I just prefer to wear makeup, especially when it makes me feel more professional when I'm doing these. But today we're just gonna be very laid back because I don't feel good. As you can see, it's like really, it's getting like into a lot of places, and it's getting kind of bad right now. And they would call this, I guess, a flare-up, but I don't know. It seems like I'm in a constant flare-up. It's just it got a little worse because I just did too much and I pushed myself, even though I was very fatigued. And at one point I like fell over. I didn't even tell anybody that lives here that I literally fell over in the kitchen trying to get everything prepared. But that's how it is. I was still pleased with everything I made. I'm just very fatigued. So there's that. So just saying, I'm not myself today, but I still want to do this video, and because I really liked the idea of it. Now, like I said, it's a tag. It's a tag that I saw Omnia did, and her link will be down below, as well as the person that she saw do it, that I think, sorry about that, that's my phone notification, that originated it was Jamie's Life. And so I'll have that link down below as well. So this is called Take It Back Old School Tag. I thought it was cute and a good way for you guys to like learn some things about me from when I was younger. So number one is name an old school song, whether it be hip hop, R&B, soul, funk, or rock, that you listened to when you were younger. When I was young, my first like cassette tape that I was allowed to buy and keep was Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet. So I guess Living on a Prayer would be like my big like song that I listened to back then. That's all I can think of. Sorry about the lighting too. I'm in my living room. I couldn't even deal with being in the beauty room right now. So the lighting's not as good as usual. So yeah, that's a song that I listened to when I was younger. Living on a Prayer. Number two, have you ever attended a frying a block or house party? Okay, this is a question that I found really interesting. No, I've never been to like any of those things, but from where I'm from, we had a lot of cookouts. And I came from a very big family. Well, I came from a family of 6. I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters. And my mother came from a family of 7. And often they were spread out. Many of them had moved when they got married to other states instead of Massachusetts, and so my cousins were spread out all over the place. Also, most of my cousins were older than me, because I came rather late. My mother had I was the last one, and the sibling that is the closest to my age, we have a 5-year difference, and the difference between her and the next sibling closest to her age is 7 years. And then they're all like 1 to 2 years, like, in age, like closest to each other. So me and my sister were kind of like things that happened by accident. Like, it just happened. And my parents had us. And so even my older brothers and sisters are much older than me. So a lot of my cousins were too. I didn't really have, I was the youngest cousin of that generation, you could say. So I actually am closer to age in some of the second cousins than I am to my actual cousins. So anyways, moving along. So we had cookouts, and also my mom went to a church, and many of the people from that church were there usually as well. So there were some that my family from other states would come during the summer to visit, because my grandparents did live there. And so there would be these big cookouts, either at my mom's or one of my aunt's houses that still lived on the Cape. So it was pretty big deal. And we would have, you know, hamburgers and hot dogs and all that stuff. All like what I consider to be normal cookout stuff. You know, coleslaw and potato salad, macaroni salad, whatever. And watermelon and things of that sort. Plus, because we're in Cape, there were sometimes steamers or lobsters and clams, things like that. So that's like my big memories or whatever of that sort of a party, was our big cookouts. 3, have you ever owned a cassette player, Walkman, or record player? I had a Walkman. I did. That's about as close as I come to that. My parents had a record player, like a big old-fashioned record player with like these huge speaker things on it. Like, it was ridiculous looking. But I had a Walkman. I don't remember if I think I had a cassette player at one point too. My dad had a little cassette player. I do not remember what my sister had. Or any of my other brothers and sisters. They were out of the house, most of them, by the time I would have had something like that. Number 4, what was your favorite corner store snack or candy as a child? Corner store snack. Where I was, on the Cape, we didn't really have a corner store. You could walk to our downtown, which our downtown was so tiny. It was so tiny, you could half a blink and it was over with. Like, really, really tiny. And I could walk down there. And there was like a store. I don't know if it wasn't really a corner store. It was kind of weird, and I don't remember the name of it. I know that my aunt worked there for a short amount of time. I think maybe my cousin did too. I'm not sure. I don't really remember. I know my other cousin worked at the pharmacy. So I could go there and maybe get a snack, but I don't really remember ever getting snacks there, to be honest. I really don't. When we wanted a snack, you know, we'd tell Mom what we would like to put on the grocery list, and she took care of that for us. And I remember one thing I really liked when my mom got was ding dongs. You know, Drake's ding dongs. Or ring dings. Whatever they're called. I think it was ring dings. In my head, though, for some reason, I always want to call them ding dongs. They were called ring dings. They were like a Drake's round cake. You can still get them, I think. Kind of like a Hostess cupcake, but not. It was a little different. But pretty much the same stuff in it. You know, the cream filling and the cake and the... Instead of like chocolate frosting, there was like... It was covered in like a chocolate fudge thing. Stuff. Well, anyways. So, yeah. That was like a big deal when I was a little kid. For like a little snack. Number 5, what was your high school mascot? I don't know. I really don't. I never paid attention to stuff like that. I wasn't really big on like that sort of thing. I didn't watch sports. I wasn't into sports. Even when I dated somebody who was like in a sports team, I wasn't the type of girlfriend that went and supported. It was a terrible girlfriend. Apparently. I only dated, I think, like one guy that even did that type of stuff, though. I dated different types of guys. So that was never my thing. I have no idea. No idea. I really don't. I'm trying to think, and I can't think of if we even had mascots or what. I don't know. Number 6, name a show or shows you could not go without watching as a child. Now, child or teenager, I consider that to be like kind of separate. We're talking about a kid. I'm not really sure either. As a kid, I liked so many different types of TV shows. There was this Saturday morning cartoon. Wasn't completely a cartoon. It was like, but yeah, it was a cartoon. Called Kid Video. That once I cried when I couldn't get to see it. Because my parents had decided to have a new rule of like we could only watch so many hours of TV. But I felt that was unfair on Saturdays because there were hours of Saturday morning cartoons. And for me to have to like pick a block of cartoons. So I kind of like just cried and cried and cried. And then my dad, he caved into me and was like, okay, on Saturday mornings, like you can watch, you know, all morning Saturday morning cartoons, but then there's no more TV for the rest of the day. That rule didn't even last that long anyways. Because the TV, my parents like put the TV on quite a bit too, so, and then we would go in and watch, and it wasn't really fair to count like when they were watching their shows, so it just didn't work out in the long run. That rule didn't work out, and I never even tried that rule with my daughter because I'm a very much like TV background person. Like the TV goes on in the background. And my daughter is rarely watching it anyways. Honestly, when she was little, she watched a lot of TV, but now she's usually doing artwork on the computer. And some people might be like, oh, that's too much screen time. But for me, it's like she's doing something productive. So that's not like screen. I don't know. I'm not into that sort of thing. Certainly am not against parents who do it. Hey, we all parent differently and we all make different decisions about what we think is best for our child. And I'm not going to go any further into that. So, what was the next one? Oh, 7. Have you ever used a payphone? Yes, absolutely. When I was young, I always had a dime on me to use the payphone so that I could call my parents if I was downtown in that little tiny town to tell them if I was going to go to a friend's or ask them if they could pick me up or whatnot. So, yeah, I definitely used a payphone. And even into my 20s, I was still, payphones were still kind of a thing. So, I'm older than some people on YouTube. Not everybody, but well, some people. 8. What games or activities did you play with your neighborhood friends or cousins as a child? Frisbee and badminton are very big at my house. We had a badminton set up in the front yard, and we would play that a lot. Frisbee was played out in the street. Yes, in the street. And when you heard a car coming, you know, you just yelled, "Car coming," and everybody like went to the side of the road until the car went by, and then you went back to playing Frisbee. For reals. I can't even imagine doing that where I am now, or in many of the other places I lived. I doubt you could even get away with doing that where I did live back then. I don't think you could get away with that now. But back then it was pretty normal. 9. Who was your childhood best friend? Childhood. I can't say. Because I didn't really honestly feel like I ever had a best friend when I was a child. I actually was kind of lonely as a kid. There were a lot of, because my sister and her friends were around, but of course, 5 years older than me. And I didn't start feeling like I had any friends until high school age. Like any real good friends. I had friends from church, but I never felt close to any of them that much. I tried to feel close to them, but I didn't. And I'm sure they probably feel the same way. We just didn't click or mesh. Like when I was really young, there was this girl that I think I called her my best friend, but she really wasn't. We had nothing in common. We didn't do anything together. I still know her now, but I'm sure she would agree we weren't best friends. Like, we weren't really even good friends. It was just like, we were friends out of convenience. That's about it. Because we both went to the same church. And we both went to the same small private school, which was basically the church's private school. I don't even want to get into that mess. So yeah, we didn't get a lot of socialization as a kid. And quite honestly, for me, that was not a good thing. By the time I got back into public school, I had a really hard time. At first, because I was used to a very different world where I was kind of very special. And then I went to a place where I wasn't special anymore. And it kind of like messed me up. I think it would have been better if things had been the opposite way around. But, you know, I don't know. It would be better if I'd gone to public school maybe in my early years and then later went to private school, like how it usually works. But no, I went to a small private school as a child, and it did not do me any favors. Number 10. Show a throwback picture of yourself. Okay, well, I will at the end of this video. I'll put a throwback picture of myself. It should be interesting. I know I have some. And I will put one up there. And that's it. That's everything. That's all the questions. So the questions will be down below too. I'm not going to tag anybody. I'm just going to say, if you would like to do this tag, you know, that's awesome. And please, if you do, mention me and the originator and everything, because I would like to see what your answers are. And it's always nice to put down the originator of the tag. Okay? Alright. And, yeah, hopefully I'll be feeling better soon. I know I'm always feeling ill, but you know what? I have illnesses, so I feel sick a lot. It's just the way it is. I'm not going to say I'm sorry, because I'm not sorry. The only thing I'm sorry about is... No, I'm not even sorry. I just wish I wasn't this way. Because it's no fun for me. I'm trying to keep me from not coughing. So anyways, always remember to be kind, even when you want to slap them in the face, even though it can be really, really difficult sometimes. Bye-bye, kitty cats.